Hey, it's Sela Social Studies.
Hey guys, welcome back to CLS Social Studies. Today we're going to be talking about Texas independence, part of our manifest destiny, and we're also going to be talking about how Americans will even start claiming that land. Who do we claim it from? Do we claim it from Spain, who has traditionally been now in control of Mexico since the conquistadors? In 1810, a Mexican priest named Father Miguel Hidalgo y Costilla led an unsuccessful revolt against Spain for Mexican freedom, for Mexico's freedom from them. Revolutionaries fought for the next 11 years, and on August 24th, 1821, O'Donoghue signed the Treaty of Cordoba, ending New Spain's dependence on Old Spain. So Mexico had now won its independence from Spain. So what about the land today known as Texas? Well, the Texas territory connected the United States and Mexico and would turn out to be a hotly debated territory. Americans moved to the south and west to claim Texan land, and the new Mexican government hired empresarios or agents to bring settlers to Texas. One such agent, Stephen F. Austin, started a colony on the lower Colorado in 1822, which claimed many successes. American settlers took notice and were attracted to the new opportunities and received free land in exchange for obeying Mexican laws and a promise to practice Catholicism. As General Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna became the ruler of Mexico, he began to be concerned about the number of Americans moving into the area and banned further settlement of American settlers in Texas. And with a large number of Americans settling in the Texas territory, they wanted to be free of Mexican rule and claim their independence. In 1835, in the town of Gonzales, the Texas War for Independence began. 50 miles east of San Antonio sat the city of Gonzales. Santa Anna loaned the city a cannon to protect itself from Native American attacks. And when Santa Anna demanded that the return of the cannon, the non-Hispanic residents of Gonzales turned the cannon against Mexican troops. The Mexican army was routed in the attack, and the first battle of the Texas Revolution was over, resulting in a Texan victory. American settlers established a provisional state government, and the Texas Army, led by Sam Houston, won a series of battles in 1835. Stephen F. Austin went to the United States to seek money and troops to fight the war. And on March 2nd, 1836, like the United States did in 1776, Texas declared its independence and the Republic of Texas was established. On March 4th, 1836, Sam Houston was appointed the commander of all Texan forces. So let's now cover some of the important battles, and I think I'm going to only go over two of them for you, two of the main important battles of the War for Texas Independence. So the first one we're going to cover is going to be the Battle of the Alamo. So there were many battles that were fought during the Texas Revolution, but these two stand out from the rest. The Battle of the Alamo. So for many Americans and most Texans, the battle has become a symbol of patriotic sacrifice. Many important Americans fought at this battle, such as Tennessee Congressman Davy Crockett, entrepreneur James Bowie, and Colonel William Travis. The Alamo was a Spanish mission that the Texans used as a fortification. The Texan force numbered between 190 and 250 men in total, and they were led by Colonel Travis. Now, Travis and other defenders of the Alamo heard that Santa Anna was on his way to attack the mission, but Travis believed that he would not get to the fort until mid-March. And when Santa Anna arrived in late February, the Texans were surprised and trapped. From February 23rd to March 6, 1836, Santa Anna and his force of between 2,000 and 5,000 Army personnel laid siege and tried to starve the Texans from the fort. Travis pleaded with Americans through a series of letters to receive reinforcements, but he knew the dire situation he was in. His pleading landed him only 30 defenders to aid in his cause. Travis's response to Americans is that defenders of the Alamos would either win or die. Santa Anna demanded the surrender of the Alamo, to which Travis responded with cannon fire. Around 5 o'clock in the morning on March 6, Santa Anna ordered the attack of his huge army. By 8 o'clock, all of the Alamo defenders were dead. Some 7 men survived the attack, but Santa Anna ordered their execution. The only survivors were a handful of women and children and slaves that were not part of the fighting. The second battle that we're going to cover right here is the Battle of San Jacinto. Now, few battles in war are ever as decisive as the Battle of San Jacinto. Sam Houston and the Texan army were on retreat eastward towards the San Jacinto River, while Santa Anna chased with his army of about 1,200 men. Near Galveston Bay, at a point in the river where it forms a horseshoe bend, the Texans took a stand. The battleground would be perfect. The Mexican army would be in the open, surrounded by the water, and Texans would hide behind a thick tree line opposite the river. Santa Anna ordered breastworks of trunks, baggage, pack saddles, and other equipment to be built for protection. On April 21st, 1836, Sam Houston and his Texan army waited until around 3:30 in the afternoon during the Spanish siesta to attack. As the Texan army shouted, "Remember the Alamo!" they attacked Santa Anna. The battle lasted only 18 minutes. According to Houston's reports, the casualties were 630 Mexicans killed and 730 taken prisoner. Only 9 of the 910 Texans were killed or mortally wounded, and 30 were wounded less seriously. Houston's injury included a shattered ankle from a musket ball strike, and the Texans captured a large supply of muskets, pistols, sabers, mules, horses, supplies, clothing, tents, and about $12,000 in Spanish silver. Santa Anna was found hiding in some grass, wet and wearing a common soldier's uniform. He was discovered to be the leader Santa Anna when other soldiers referred to him as El Presidente. Santa Anna was captured, surrendered, and was forced to sign a treaty giving Texas its independence. So what does that mean for Texas statehood? Well, Sam Houston was the hero of the new independent nation of Texas, where he was later elected president, and Stephen F. Austin became Secretary of State. To increase the population of Texas, land grants were offered to new settlers, many of them from nearby southern states who brought their enslaved Africans with them. At this point, many Americans living in Texas hoped that the United States would annex or take control of Texas and make it a state. Unfortunately for those Americans, Texas would not immediately become a state. Texas would remain an independent nation for about 10 more years. President Andrew Jackson recognized that Texas was an independent nation and did not want to annex Texas because he knew it would upset the balance of free and slave states in the Union. The heart of the debate about Texas annexation was slavery. The federal government knew that allowing another slave state into the Union would cause problems with northern abolitionist states, fearing that a larger number of slave states might lead to war. Eventually, in 1845, Texas joined the Union as the 28th state, leading to the outbreak of the Mexican-American War, and the issue of slavery would continue on until the completion of the Civil War. I'll see you next time.